Or I believe what was just discussed in the budget. I didn't make the budget meeting. So.
Never even heard me.
We talked about, it wasn't a budget, it was someplace else.
I know we talked about, I remember talking about
Yeah.
tabs.
Somewhere.
Yep. Looking this way.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the roll call show everybody is present. We do have a quorum. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Been moved by Councilman Weaver to approve the agenda. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Been seconded by Councilwoman Hartke. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed. Public hearing, real estate bid opening. Do we have, approve the minutes, I jumped ahead. Yeah, consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent? And we don't have any communications from the audience. Do we? Please advance and address the body. Thank you.
Most of you know me. I'm Jennifer Shano. I am starting the farmers market starting next Friday. It's the first week in June. That's right. Yeah. I'm still wanting to make sure it's okay that we can host it down at the new community park instead of at this location. And advertisement would be great to get it out there more. I did have I forgot my organization, but it's through the college. They did what they call rack cards, and they gave me a big stack of them. Then I'll drop off some here. I'll take some out to the park. But it lists all of the farmers markets, and Shoshoni is on that as well. I plan to run it from June until about December. So right now, until it gets cold, we'll be outdoors, and then I'll move it into the community room when that time comes. So I just wanted to bring it back up that I'm still gonna do it. I did have a meeting about a month ago with all of my vendors, and they're still really excited. They still want the community involvement so that we can bring in more vendors for Shoshoni. But they're really hoping that even changing it down to a different location, advertisement, possibly in the future, once we get more money coming in for our market still, getting more signs so we can post at every location we can, to get people to know that we're doing it every Friday.
Moving forward, you're gonna hold it down at the town plaza?
Mhm. That's our hope, if
Okay,
you guys are okay with that.
I think good idea. And then it's still gonna be every Friday.
Yep, from 5 to 7.
You know, with our new sign we have that was so supplied to us by Wind River Visitor Council, we probably can advertise that there too. If we get, Chris is the only one presently that's trained on that apparatus. But if I've venture to try to get him to train me, but I think get more of us involved with that, but I think that, that sign, which we can advertise there. Do you have flyer capability printing?
We were hoping to have that done, and actually, I was gonna still talk to Jordan because he makes awesome flyers still. And then the market would also support some of the hot summer nights activities as well. So that is something in my future that I still want to talk to Jordan about.
Okay.
I support help as far as your Friday nights. I'm looking to.
Excuse Jordan, please, could you come up, please?
Sorry.
There are people in the audience may want to hear us online.
This is Jordan Whitener.
Thank you.
I'm totally fine with whatever. I think the only thing that I could see that may be conflicting for us with the farmer's market is we do have 2 events planned for Fridays. I believe they are August
6th.
5th.
6th.
6th is the Saturday. And September 2nd. So there is only one Friday. Because we moved him to, so anyways, September 2nd, I don't have my Google Calendar to look at it, but just off the top of the head, September 2nd, how late does your farmer's market run?
From 5 to 7.
I think we have him setting up at, oh man, I'd have to look, but I think he's starting to play at 7. So, yeah.
And it's not necessarily in that area, like the tables and stuff, it's kind of that parking area that will
The
be
dirt,
based
was
off
the dirt back there or on the street
on the
itself?
street itself.
Oh, I mean, I don't
And
know. I just worry about opportunities for parking for the event itself. But I
Well,
don't
I
see
like-
why we can't. We could probably push him to 7:30. The downfall is that Saturday we have our huge event, so I would like to get some rest. But I don't see why we can't make it work. I mean, it's not like we need to fight over the park. I think we can divide and conquer and, collab and make it work. I don't see why there's any issue for us. As long as you're not going to be in the band
No.
shelter per se. I don't see any issues. So, yeah, I mean, as far as hot summer nights, I don't see no conflicting things. And we would love your support.
Awesome. Thank you. I think that's all I have for my end.
Hey, I do have events here. So basically is the only Saturday I think we would be conflicting is the 2nd, except June 16th and 17th, which is a Thursday and Friday. But I have not asked for the council's approval on those 2 dates yet. So, and that would be 2. So that would eliminate the street,
Okay.
but I haven't got there yet. So you're kind of ahead of me, but
You're good.
I guess we could
And
maybe
we're
circle around at the end of the meeting and figure that out.
And we're flexible. If there's times that we can't be down there, I have no problem being down here. We're just concerned, like at my meeting when I have with my vendors, we're really concerned about the traffic flow and distractions, that we don't want people accidentally not finishing their turn, and especially campers in the busy season right now. That's our main concerns. That's why the only reason we want to move. So other than that, that's all I have for you.
Thank you.
you.
Appreciate you putting that on. Any other communication from citizens?
Is that me? Am I under that heading on the agenda? No?
Under appearances.
No,
Okay.
you're under appearance. Yeah, these are on people that hadn't made a place to be on. Anyway, consent agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? of the minutes of May 10th, 2022, and approval of bills from May 11th through May 24th, 2022.
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Zent to approve the consent agenda. And a second,
I'll second it.
been seconded by Councilwoman Hartke. Any further discussions? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. Public hearing, real estate bid openings. Got 5 total bids. Okay, we have 5 bids. This is property, approximately 3 acres on the west side of town. Highest successful bidder, legitimate bidder will be the high bidder. Dave, would you like to explain a little bit that we got to go through on the real estate side of things?
Well, we just conducted a closed bid process where everybody has to put a
Could you
reference.
step up, please? Introduce yourself, sorry.
I'm Dave Parker with Sun Realty. We listed the property for sale for the city. They wanted to have a closed bid process to let people give something a little bit different, so people actually could submit what they wanted to offer on the property and bid against other people. And we're at that point now with 5 different individuals, so we can see who gets the highest bid, who would be the first one we go to draft up a real estate contract to complete the purchase. So that's where we're at this point. Any questions?
Thank you.
We had people calling from New York, Florida, people all over. I mean, I don't know what real estate's doing now, spreading this stuff around, but it was amazing the number of people that called. They were hoping for a fully developed 3-acre lot for 7,500, but that really wasn't possible.
First bid we have from Caleb Olson, $7,500. Next bid. Jake Stetler. $25,555.55. Next bid from Victor Talwleski. $18,000. Putting up zeros in my bid.
Bid from Joel Highsmith for $8,888.
$8,000 from Madeline Johnson. There. That's a Jason. Oh, Jason. You're Joe. Joson last name. Madeline. That takes care of all the bidding. Jake Stetler had the highest bid. In the amount of $25,555.55. Like all them fives. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, fair.
I got a small mind. Anyway, congratulations, Jake. I know, I'm sure you're watching. Dave, will you be in contact with Jake?
Yes.
And we can start our procedure. Do you know anything, Marshall, that we need to be doing that we haven't done, or?
Well, about the only thing is, it's the responsibility of the governing body to determine how and when those payments are. all that
Right.
stuff. So, other than that, you just need to get that established.
I think I talked to Dave about some earnest money as we're sorting through all of this.
Yeah, and then, I'll just need the legal description to
Yes.
draft the warranty deed.
Okay,
Title with the closing, or, closing with the title company,
mhm,
so I don't do closings.
right.
Joel, I don't, these guys are claiming they want to bid. I don't know how that works. I don't want to be interrupt, but I can't
It's
answer.
advertised for 3 weeks.
Closed.
That's close as we can be.
It's closed.
Yeah, we've opened the bids. We can't accept bids now. And we can't accept any bids now.
I didn't know the answer to that, so I
No,
just.
I want to bid.
Price is right.
would you like to come up and address this or explain your concerns? Or please step up.
Well, we know we're kind of late. We don't know what's the last bid for the 3 acres. This we would like to offer.
No, yeah, we just went through a bidding process where you had to contact our realtor and give him a seal. All these bids were sealed. Nobody, even the realtor, knew what the amounts were. And then we opened them at this meeting. So you would have had to gotten a sealed envelope with your bid to our realtor, and we advertise that, try to. And then if you had any questions, you could call the realtor or even town hall and got advice. I believe, but that's what we advertise. So yeah, it's, the cat's out of the bag or whatever, that we can't take. Yeah, I'd like to go into auction right now, but we can't legally do that. Yeah. But we have some other properties for sale right now as we speak. And we are going to have some other properties also in the future for sale.
Okay.
Where are you living at?
7 acres.
Where we're living at,
Where are you living at now?
308
Okay,
here in Shoshoni.
okay. But if you keep an eye on, we are going to have some other properties for sale.
Okay.
And some of it will be this same type of process, and some of the others, we're sorting that out, but we're gonna have some land for sale.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Do you want to discuss economic development plans too for property?
Sure,
Yeah.
we will. One of the things where we are offering, we have 2 properties. In fact, this building we're in right now is for sale. We have some other properties, some business, commercial lots with a shop is for sale. And we're asking people to come to us with ideas. What business you would put in here. And those through economic development is not necessarily to the highest bidder. It can be someone that's got the best idea. It may be less money, but you're going to create jobs to help our town. So the governing body would look at those offers and vote for what's best for the town of Shoshoni. You could offer $100,000, just round numbers, and you're going to bring in 20 jobs. And somebody else might offer $200,000 and bring in 2 jobs. The governing body felt it was better for the town to take less money. We would do that if it was what's best interest for the town. Someone could offer 20 million and create no jobs. We might think that might be the best interest for the town. We might take that, but I mean, well, what's the best? What would serve the community the best on the sale of the property? And that's how that works. So if you got some good business ideas. Anyway.
His wife thought that it was you come and bid.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we didn't know.
I'm
That's how we know, and then, you raise your hand and then, I want to be, that's what we thought.
okay. I'm sorry.
We learned from this.
Okay, very, very good.
If you have any questions about properties that are currently up the town as, you can always stop into town hall and ask us, and we can get you some information that you can follow up on and who to talk to about what we have currently that is on the market of whatever kind, and whether it's through Dave or whatever else. So you can check with us from time to time if you have any questions here locally too.
Thank you for coming and showing interest. Hope to sell you some land. Fiscal year 2023 budget, first reading.
Ordinance FY 2023, be it ordained by the governing body of the town of Shoshoni, Wyoming. Whereas on the 24th day of May 2022, the Shoshoni clerk Christopher Kojai prepared and submitted to council a budget for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. Whereas such a budget was duly entered at large upon records of this council, and a copy thereof was made available for public inspection at the office of Shoshoni Town Hall. And whereas notice of a public hearing on such a budget was published in the absence of a local newspaper via general circulation in the town of Shoshoni, including on official town of Shoshoni online resources accessed by the public. Whereas a public hearing was held on such a budget at the time and place specified in said notice, at which time all interested parties were given an opportunity to be heard. And now therefore be resolved by the council that the town of Shoshoni budget be adopted as the official town of Shoshoni budget for FY 2023, year ending June 30th, 2023. Be it further resolved that the following appropriations as provided for in ordinance FY 2023 be made for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023, and that the expenditures of each officer, department, or spending agency be limited to the amount herein appropriated. Be it further resolved, the town of Shoshoni approves a general tax levy of 8 mills on all taxable property within the town of Shoshoni. The town of Shoshoni has a memorandum of understanding with the Fremont County Fire Protection District to provide the fire protection for the town of Shoshoni. The town of Shoshoni approves to send Fremont County Fire District 3 mills of the 8 mills from the general tax levy as provided by law for fire protection. Section 1, the following sums of money for the objects and purposes herein specified, which are deemed necessary to defray expenses and liabilities for the town of Shoshoni for the period July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, and shall be set aside for the following purposes. General administration, $216,082. Mayor and council, $24,321. Municipal court, $44,306. Streets and alleys, $59,418. Parks and recreation, $66,328. Airport, $500. Fire department, $16,505. Police department, $451,938. Library, $30,395. Water, $200,297. Wastewater, $134,050. Capital projects, $2,282,358. Senior housing, $58,123. Medical clinic, $12,225 for a total of $3,596,846. Section 2, providing further that the Shoshoni Town Council recognizes the need to raise the minimum monthly rates for water and wastewater to stabilize enterprise fund due to unexpected increases in production and need for repairs and upgrades, and therefore accelerates previously planned increases over a 3-year period to a 1-year increase of $10, increasing both water and wastewater $5 each. The increased rate is required to ensure fiscal solvency as mandated by law and provide for required upgrades and repairs. The water minimum usage allowed per month will remain at 10,000 gallons per unit and $3 per 1,000 gallons in excess of minimum. Minimum usage. The town of Shoshone also recognizes the increased cost for water and wastewater taps. The fee for each will increase from $750 to $1,500. Effective date of rate increased to be July 1, 2022. This is the first reading.
Can I have a motion to approve? Have a motion to approve the budget as read.
So moved.
And moved by Councilman Zen. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
And second by Councilwoman Harkey. Discussion.
I have a question on the tap fee. Will there be a difference between in-house fees, taps, and pits, or will they be the same?
Whatever water tap for a new construction would be the same.
Okay, well, I'm wondering if we'll separate them between pits and in-house. So Buddy, could you answer that, please? The cost difference?
Yeah,
What's the cost difference between an in-house and?
I don't know what the
pit?
price on the pits are anymore. And the way it goes, if you get an inside installation for a meter, 3/4 inch, the town purchases that meter. Over a 3/4 inch installed inside the house, the homeowner pays for the difference over a 3/4 inch meter. Say they wanted a 1 inch.
Okay,
They pay that little difference for the 1 inch instead of a 3/4. Now a pit, the homeowner pays for the pit.
okay, that answers my question.
So. But of course, you know, most of the pits are a 3/4 inch
Right.
meter inside, so you're mainly paying for the plastic tube. that
That's
goes
what I'm
in.
wondering about.
So, correct,
Because who paid for that extra increase of pit is my question.
right, the homeowner does.
Okay, that's not listed here, so you've answered my question.
So is a pit $1,500 or 15 plus,
It's 15 plus.
15 plus the meter? And so this number here is just the general,
Right,
get water to your home.
and you paid for the pit extra.
See, you actually can't put a price on the pit. I mean,
Sure.
prices change, you know. So. So, you know, I mean, if there's a number in there actually for a pit, then, you know, there ain't. Oh,
There isn't.
well, I'd say 1,500.
No, so that's, so the increase is going from $750 service to $1,500 for a,
Oh, a tap.
for a tap.
For a
I
tap.
see. Okay.
And so the question is, so in theory, if someone moves in a,
See, I wasn't at the last budget meeting. I missed.
Neither
all
was I.
that, So I didn't catch what was actually going on.
so someone, let's just say an example for the audience, someone brings in a mobile home, they would come into here and say, I need to get a water tap, we would tell them $1,500, correct?
Correct. And the meter, I believe when we were going to that, the meters are up to $1,300 for a meter. So at $750, we're actually losing
Right,
money.
right.
And so the pit would just, so then telling someone, so you're gonna be 1,500 plus whatever,
If you want to.
if you want a pit.
Correct.
Okay.
Prices.
Any further discussion?
Can mention so far from the workshops, what was incorporated in there, our ending balance is 110,000 predicted, 110,656 surplus. It's not revenue versus expenditures. Not even.
I see the chance. Some of it. I suppose there was, I was not here for the workshops. The $10 increase, I can imagine you're going to hear all about it after today.
And if you flip over to the water and wastewater, those increases have been talked about over a 3-year period. The reason that it was in the workshop accelerating was because of the COVID cost increases. Such a huge increase so quickly. But we also have $2.4 million pre-COVID in upgrades and repairs for our transmission lines, and that we have to get through. That's what that phase 2 water study was about through wastewater. And we have to make sure that our budget, that our revenues are able to absorb the cost, because we're not going to get 100% financing for all of it. We're going to have to pay for upwards of 800,000, maybe even $1 million, depending on the terms. And when it's all said and done, it's going to be more than 2.4 million. It's going to be probably closer to 3.5. So even at 1/3 cost of the town, you're talking close to $1 million that we're going to have to pay for. And we have to make sure that we have a enterprise fund that can absorb that cost over whatever the term conditions are, 30 years or 45 years, whatever that may be. And that is what we have to ensure. And also having a depreciation fund that previously was not being added to the cost too, that we're not being taken into account. So we have all those things coming together at once. We have to make sure that we have that, or else we can't upgrade the lines. And the Wyoming Water Board will look at the solvency of your enterprise fund. They will look at what we're charging for water. And we don't want to be the highest, but we also do not want to be the lowest. You know, it's so are we being reasonable? Are we trying to help ourselves? And if we try to help ourselves, they're more willing to help us. And it's kind of, it was, you know, and we should have been working our way towards this for many years and did not, but our level 1 study, you know, identified, I think it was $2.4 million worth of work that needs to be, a lot of it should have been done sort of as we're through the years as we're going on, and neglected maintenance part of it and things wearing out. It's a multitude of things. But that was a pretty good, pretty big number. And that's not drilling new wells or, you know, and that's not water lines in town, because they're, I think, mostly new, but just our delivery system. And one of the things at the budget meeting that was trying to figure out options for how to handle this was not to increase the baseline rate, but to lower the 10,000 gallons down to 7,000. Most of the communities are around 5,000, some are less. And so we're still at 10,000 base rate. And that was another way that would have done it without raising the direct baseline rate, but would have
Killed the grass.
killed the grass, exactly. And so that was why we had accelerated that way, because there was no other way to raise it. And it's not changing the overall rate that was planned and discussed for years. It's just accelerating it. But with COVID, it changed it. The cost jumped up so quickly that if we don't address it, then we'll be either negative balance on the water and as well as wastewater, or flat balance and not be able to absorb any additional costs for repairs and maintenance that are going to be exorbitant. And so we had to make sure that we did it. That's why we accelerated now and not wait 3 years, or else we get there eventually, but then in 3 years, is that going to be enough? Then with costs going, so that's, yeah, I just give you the numbers, and that's, the numbers are what they are, the cost of the cost.
Sure.
I don't want to pay more for water any more than anybody else does, but I also would like to have, the ability to have water, not have a boil order and drinking bottled water every day because our water lines broke and failed, and it's
Just this.
Any more discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye to approve the first reading of fiscal year 2023 budget. Say aye.
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 Opposed, the same.
hand up.
Motion,
We had a hand that came up right before. I'm sorry. I didn't see it. Question.
On the internet. Oh,
Ivan? Do you have your hand raised for a question? Retract, never mind. Sorry.
all in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed all in the affirmative. Wind River Visitors Council Joint Powers Board Budget Approval.
I would have emailed it, but it's so pretty when you get it.
This is our first annual report. My name's Helen Wilson, and I'm the Executive Director of the Wind River Visitors Council. And every year we go through the process of coming and chatting with you and getting our budget approved through all of the different joint powers. So I just wanted to go over what this means. First off, we have had a record-breaking year for tourism. We have had more tourists in the last year than in any year previously. We're also operating on less, our operating expenses are lower than they've ever been. So it's been a really great year for low operating costs, high revenue. And what you can see if you open up your folder there, I've stuck a couple of pieces of paper in. The first one here is your Fremont County lodging tax collections. And if you look at that, you'll notice that every single month is record breaking. And you can look at those bottom numbers for the fiscal year, and you'll see that we have had such a good year. And even with 3 empty spaces for the rest of the fiscal year, we've already beaten all previous records. So it has been an incredible year. So incredible that So what we do is all the lodging tax comes to the Wind River Visitors Council, and then we give 25% of it back to the communities in the percentage that they put into it. And that's basically your hotels. And for that percentage, we really just look at Du Bois, Lander, and Riverton because they have the hotels. But we give a flat rate to Shoshoni and Hudson, and it's a rate that's higher than if you were to actually count up your hotels. So it's a good deal for Shoshoni and Hudson. We had such a great year this year. We actually ended up needing to revise our budget, and Shoshoni got $2,000 more than we had budgeted for last year. So when I spoke last year, we actually increased that by $2,000. And so the number for next year is $8,000, which is what you got this year after that boost. It was 6,000 last year. So it's 8,000 the current fiscal year. It's 8,000 next fiscal year. And that goes to the Chamber of Commerce, and they determine projects where that money is spent locally on marketing or events, or there's certain things you can't do. You can't buy alcohol, can't do political lobbying, and you can't build infrastructure. We also got some extra money this year in the form of CARES funds, and this year is in this current fiscal year. And the way that Shoshone benefited from that was the big digital sign that you have down your street, which I heard that the farmers market is going to be advertised on. So we've had an amazing year. I am really excited about our upcoming year. One thing we have done a little bit differently this fiscal year, because we have gotten ahead, we are able to use actual numbers for our budget instead of guessing. And in the past, and it doesn't really matter so much to Shoshone because you get a flat rate for the TAD money. But for the other communities where they're getting a percentage of lodging tax, it does matter because they can't plan ahead. They don't know if they're going to get a little check or a big check. So what we've based our budget off of on this sheet is the 2020 to 2021 fiscal year, which is the full fiscal year, the most current full fiscal year. So 729,499,82, which is the number that you'll see plugged into the budget. And then we based it off of that for everything else. That's kind of the general idea with things. There is one holding point on here that's kind of a placeholder, and that is under salary. You'll see two staff salaries. One is 85,000, which is my position, and the other is 41,200, which is our community engagement manager. That salary is still being discussed with the board of directors, and they have a committee of 4 people doing research on the executive director salary and diving into that. So that's a placeholder. And other than that, the numbers are all there. And I'm just going to open it up for questions.
We have Crossroads RV Park now, Shoshone. Will they pay your lodging tax?
They will. They're supposed to. So yes, they will do that. For Shoshone to get to actually, you would need quite a few hotels for it to benefit you to have it moved from a flat rate to a percentage.
So that was my question is, are you going to do a percentage of what they pay you and a flat rate? Or
I don't think you want to do the percentage. I think the flat rate's going to benefit you more, but I am curious to see how that percentage looks. And I'm happy to share that and let you know what the Shoshone numbers are looking like. It's kind of an interesting split. It's Du Bois, Lander, and Riverton is the percentage, and Du Bois and Riverton are kind of close to each other. And the reason for that is Riverton has a lot of hotels. You drive down the street, there's lots of hotels, but Du Bois has all those dude ranches, and those are expensive. So 4% of dude ranches, 4% of lots of hotels. It does come pretty close. Lander is below that. And then, as I said, Shoshone and Hudson, it benefits you to do a flat rate. Otherwise, it wouldn't be very much because it's 25% and then a percentage of what the town is bringing in. We also support, as I mentioned, other projects like the sign. And if there's projects that the community is doing here, the Winter Visitors Council is always happy to advertise events, or where we've been working a little bit with Mayor Highsmith on a possible magazine. And so just projects like that, we can get involved to the extent that the town would like us involved. And we do this every year. We go to Hudson and Shoshone and Du Bois and Lander and Riverton and to the Board of Directors for the Winter River Visitors Council. And it is a joint power. So we seek approval from everybody. And always happy to answer questions. As I mentioned, this is our first annual report. I'm hoping to expand on it, add a couple of pages each year. But this was kind of our first attempt at it. The other thing with the annual report, I kind of struggled a little bit with, do we do it by the fiscal year or do we do it by the calendar year? And we opted to do it by the calendar year. So we're not splitting in the summer in half, which of course is the big numbers for tourism. So you can see it from January all the way through December. And it also means I can show it to you now.
Are the hotels on the reservation included in this as well?
No, the hotels on the reservation do not pay lodging tax, so they don't get any of that percentage back. However, we do have a Wind River Indian Reservation interpretive plan support. And so you'll see this year we worked with them on a travel stories project where we have 10 Eastern Shoshone and 10 Northern Arapaho locations on an audio tour that people can do while they're driving. This coming up fiscal year, the number's a bit higher, quite a bit higher, 25,000. And what we're looking at doing is helping with a digital sign like Shoshone has at the Frank B. Wise Center, but also working on a documentary of St. Stephen's. And so we've got two big projects planned on the reservation, but they don't contribute to the lodging tax. And so they don't get a percentage and there's no TAD money there. And I'm always happy to answer questions throughout the year if you have them. It's been really neat. This is my first year in the position. I started last January, so I guess almost a year and a half now. And when I spoke to you last year, it was one of my first budget hearings and still trying to figure it out. And it has been an amazing year. And we have just seen record-breaking numbers everywhere. And the whole state isn't like that. I should say Fremont County has really rocked it. And I think we will this year too, with Yellowstone having its 150th anniversary. When people are going over to Yellowstone, we are doing a lot of marketing over there because I think what's going to happen is it's going to be so crowded over there. People are going to be looking for those wide open spaces and looking for things to do that are close enough to Yellowstone that they don't have to do a separate trip, but pull them over here and have them experience some of our natural beauty.
I'd like to touch base a little bit. That's on the Helen discussed the payroll salary. That is the max, the amount, potential. Just like us, if we put a budget together and we budget $125,000 for water meters, whatever, we don't have to spend $125,000 for water meters. We only may spend 110, but we have budget for that. There has been a committee selected, and I'm on the committee also, to look at salaries. For we have two, Wind River Visitors Council has 2 employees, and to look at the salaries, and we're gonna be making a recommendation Thursday to the full board on what those salaries, what we're going to recommend, and then the body of the Wind River Visitors Council board will then vote on. They could accept the recommendation that's made or not, or do whatever they want, but then that'll move on from there. That's how that process is working.
And I'm going to add something to that. Thank you, Mayor Highsmith. Anything that's left in that salary will get moved over to the new opportunities, which is things that we don't know about yet. It seems like a good place to put extra money because projects come up throughout the year all the time.
Sort of like our discretionary fund. But any other questions for Helen? We have none being, can I have a motion to approve the budget as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Weaver, second by Councilman Zent, that we approve the Windy River Visitors Council budget as presented. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Pose the same. Motion passed. All in favor. Thank you, Helen.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Resolutions, permits, Shoshoni Hot Summer Nights, alcohol consumption permit ×2.
Jordan Whitener. So for Shoshoni Hot Summer Nights, just kind of go through what I would ask the council's approval upon doing is June 18th and 19th, hosting a 3-on-3 tournament starting at 9 a.m. I've got volunteers with Job Corps in Riverton to pull trashes. If the town would be able to provide somewhere to put those trashes, so it's not filling up the barrels that are at the park and then nowhere to put those. So I don't know if the town could provide a truck per se, a dumpster per se, something that they can remove those trashes so they'll fill up in 2 days. They'll fill up. I don't expect Buddy or anybody to come in and work a Saturday and Sunday of their time to pull the trashes. So I figured that was our responsibility to keep the park clean and in working order. So that being said, aside from the 18th and 19th, I would like to block off the main street that was just paved to set up the hoops and play there, as that's about the only appropriate piece of asphalt in town to be able to do that. We do have a live DJ playing music and stuff throughout the day and giving away prizes to the winning teams. In conjunction, the 18th will basically be pool play. The 19th would start tournament play and single elimination. But backtrack to the June 16th, I would ask that we could block that street off so we can set up the hoops. They're not an easy thing to set up. They do take some time and manpower to do that. And we have 9 hoops we have 10 hoops to set in conjunction to the 2 that we already have, and then have a 9-foot hoop that we have to set up. So basically looking at 12 hoops that we have to have ready along that street. So the idea would be to be on the main street there and circle around back on First Street towards the post office, probably around Jay Merritt's corner there, and probably somehow block off the alley. That way you're not taking business away from the business that resides through the alley, their drive through there. That being said, I can tell you right now, we're at about 55 teams registered.
Wow.
At 5 people per team. So not everybody has 5 players. Granted, I want you to know that not all 55 have sent in their payment. So they are signed up online, but we don't have their money. So you don't pay, you don't play. I can report that the boys 8 and under is sitting at 9 teams. The boys 9 and 10 is sitting at about 3. The boys 11 and 12, we've got 2. The boys 13 and 14, I think we have 10 in that one. Fortunately, I don't know what's going on in the county or the state, but we don't have much interest on the high school side. 15, 16, 17, 18, not much interest whatsoever there. Got a few, but nothing that's overzealing. Granted, we have 3 weeks. So I think we might see some more trickling, I would hope. That 1929 group is going to be rather competitive. We've got college teams coming out of South Dakota, Grand Pierre, South Dakota. We've got some coming out of Billings, Montana, Hardin, Montana, and they're all playing college ball. So I imagine that's going to be pretty fun to watch some college talent. That being said, move forward. That's kind of the 3-on-3, what I'm looking at for that. August 6th, we have a music festival coming in. Funny how how this event kind of got transpired. Amelia Presley, she is the niece of Elvis. And she was driving through here at a high rate of speed. And Matt decided to pull her over. I believe she was like 18 miles an hour over or something. And she was happy as can be and gave a card to Matt. Matt passed that along, and we gave her a call and kind of went back and forth a little bit on the deal. And she actually kicked off her tour as something along the lines of speeding. So she's playing all over, but it all transpired from her being stopped here. So we're the only event that she has got dated. She's opened up her other dates. She's planning on playing in New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and then coming to us and then heading back. So Shauna Whitaker, she played here before. She kind of was our first quote unquote guinea pig. And we were running around trying to find equipment that we thought she had, but we didn't have. So it was, work in progress, but she is going to come again. Brandon James, he's a country guy. And Amelia is as well. Let me go back to Amelia. I'm kind of all over the place. Amelia has been on American Idol, and she has been a finalist on American Idol. I think she made the top 3 or 4. Brandon James, he's open for Chris Ledoux out of KC. He's a KC, Wyoming boy. He's played with the Munsics. Ian is the famous Munsick of the brothers, playing at the Frontier Days this year, and several artists playing behind him. So Brandon James is probably a guy that we'll get to enjoy, but eventually I think you'll probably see him in the big names at some point. And then we have a band coming out of Lander, Eternal Reality, and they're going to play. They kind of play some rock and roll and some things of that nature, some heavier side rock, Metallica, etc. So kind of just give you a platform of what's going on with those. So I'd ask on August 6th that we would be able to have an alcohol permit for malt beverage to be in the park. If Lucky 5, kind of like they did last year, chose to do that, that is on their behalf. But we would just ask that you could have beer, wine type stuff. No hard liquor. That would have to be done from them or another person. Skip forward to September 2nd. We got the Jukebox Hero come in, and the guy is a pretty talented dude. He's a one-man band. He runs the drums from his feet, bass guitar. He kicks over by pressing a foot pedal, essentially. He plays bass, electric, all from his feet. He does the whole bit. You get to go up, request a song like you're at a jukebox, and he plays it. He's played in Sturgis and all sorts of other places. He just played in Miles City for the Cattle Roundup. Very well-known dude. And something that's kind of cool about him is he just signed a record deal. So pretty neat. So we'd ask that September 2nd, starting at 7:30, that night we can have an alcohol permit as well. And then, it'll carry into September 3rd. Now, I'm not asking to be able to party all night long per se, or have that taken place, but I'd put a time limit on the 2nd, but have that available. And then the 3rd, we're doing our Labor Day in the park that we did last year, with live DJ again, the car show, dunk tank, bouncy houses, and something that was nice last year, we did the cornhole tournament, but this year Fremont County Cornhole reached out and they want to come over and put the cornhole tournament on themselves. So less work for me, but still have the cornhole tournament. And then free dinner will be provided again. 200 pounds of brisket was given away last year. Probably about the same thing again this year. And then a really talented jazz group, Black Mountain Blues, is coming over and going to open for Full Blown Mosey. We actually had Full Blown Mosey on the 2nd and had a band called Chrome Rodeo that I guess was pretty well known and has opened for some pretty good people, but they had some band drama and that nixed that idea. So
And both days on the permit, as be from 5 PM till midnight on the 2nd and 3rd.
same with the 6th.
Yeah, the same with the 6th. Not that it won't be over before then, but that way if it carries to 11:30.
So right now we have the music taking place 7:30 PM to 11:30 PM. But Chris is exactly right. We don't want our alcohol permit, especially on the 3rd, to take place until 5 PM. The idea is for it to be family oriented, no alcohol taking place throughout the day. And then, when the concert comes in, give people that option. We don't expect to, all day long selling beer at the car show, and want to keep that kind of classy and have no issues there.
Do you need an alcohol permit for the 2nd as well?
Yes.
Oh, and also the
It's
scan version is the 3rd and 4th. The handwritten versions was by the 2nd, 3rd. I didn't have a chance to
Okay,
rescan. I was gonna
okay,
bring that
that's
up
what
too. Yeah, I meant to do
that's what I'm
that.
looking
and
at.
Yeah, that's actually the 2nd, 3rd.
Okay,
The correct one that's on
Fine.
file is the 2nd, 3rd. The one that I scanned was, 3rd. That's,
I have no problem with that. Just gonna,
yeah,
I was looking at the dates here, what he said, 2 different.
I should have looked at that.
Sounds like you have a great lineup.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
And probably should include on the car show on the 3rd.
Street blocked off again.
Have to block the street off, obviously, for that day as well.
Which would carry over to the alley about Jay's place again. Last year we had 36 or 37 cars. And
And a fire truck.
a truck. And we had one of those electric RC cars. His yellow electric RC car was parked there. Just giving you grief. Anyways.
Drive a Ford.
Anyways, on the talking to the guy that puts on the Thermopolis car show, he said the first year he had like 12 or 13 cars. So he was pretty impressed at our advertisement and things, and thinks that, it'll only grow from there. So hopefully we increase by 20 cars. I think we would have been at the 20 cars. We were supposed to have the Corvette and Mustang club out of Casper, each different clubs coming over with 5 to 10 cars each. And there was a rainstorm in Powder River and they turned around. I mean, when you're driving those cars that they have, I imagine they don't want to, so unfortunate, but is what it was. So yeah, we would ask that the street be blocked off. And again, probably something where, the trash is, be able to have some sort of trash. I don't know if Hopper Disposal would like to donate to Hot Summer Nights and provide a dumpster, but that would be ideal.
Would be ideal. Call the office.
But I wasn't sure if that was something the town, could provide or what. It doesn't even have to be a dumpster. If we just have a truck, we can throw them in to take them to a dumpster would be ideal. But if we can't, we'll figure it out.
Can I have a motion to approve both permits?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Council Weaver, second by Councilwoman Hartke, that we approve both alcohol permits. work with the police department and road closures. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion passed. All in the affirmative.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. John Pennington. Appearances by citizens, public presentations.
Good evening, council, mayor. My name is John Pennington. I lived here now for a couple of years. I'm a longtime Wyoming resident. But I especially like it up here in the little Shoshoni. And since I've been here, I've gotten involved in the local politics. And I wanted to tell you about our trip to Sheridan at the Wyoming State Convention and talk to you about the hard work that we put in and many of the things that we were able to resolve and write resolutions for, rewrite, and everything else. I think you'd be very pleased. I have this one hard copy, and I'd be happy to leave it right here if you'd like to take a perusal at it. And I'll get back to that in the next day or so if you're interested in. I wanted to say that there's a mighty head of steam rolling in this state when it comes to politics, both local and federal. We were able to write some very hard-hitting resolutions that were, that's not the finished product, but it's going to come up here shortly. And you'll all get a copy of that. That's kind of my rough scribble draft that I use. Sorry about the coffee stain. Anyway, our committee worked 18 hours on the government or on the resolutions aspect of that book right there that we wrote. And I just wanted to let you know that there's hope for our future. As long as we can keep getting rid of people like, that senator up there in Lander. We actually did tell him to be quiet. I don't know if any of you read anything about our censuring of Cale Case. But following the convention, we met and we censured him. And basically all that is please shut up. And more of that's on its way. There's a literal, what I call a conga line of rhinos parading about in the state, keeping us from realizing our true constitutional grounding here, because they're always working on things that we ask them, we send them down there to Cheyenne to represent us, and the ideas that we gather from you, and they work on their own programs. And that's exactly what we told Mr. Case, was that we didn't hire you to go work on things that you feel strongly about. We hired you to go do the work that we asked you to go do. And I'm just telling you that more of that's coming. And it's a good report. I hope you guys take the time to peruse that through. And thank you for the time. And also, thanks for letting me burn my tumbleweeds until the end of this month. I can't see much of a difference, but thank you anyway. Any questions?
I have a question. So if you go back to the very beginning, I don't know that I was clear on. I heard that I'm a longtime resident and we've been up in Sheridan doing, and I saw foreign policy. So
All right, so
either an example
I'm a
or
longtime resident of the state. I've been here 2 years now. You'll go through there and there's various headings. This one says foreign policy. This is all the resolutions that we, be it resolved that the Wyoming Republican Party believes that the United States of America must defend impending threats from all hostile nations, so on and so forth. There's a heading here called jobs and economy, and another one called crime and law, and another one called environment. I think that's what that said.
so you, in essence, you're a group that's advocating the Constitution.
I'm with the Wyoming Fremont County Republican Party.
Okay.
And yeah, we pretty much insist on the Constitution. That's the way we want to see it. Even from my young college years, I had the privilege of listening to Barbara Cuban come into the classroom and teach that the Constitution was a living document which to me just says, well, it's living as long as it's going to work for you. Other than that, the rest of us can just kick rocks. So we're going back to the Constitution as our founding fathers wrote it and meant it, for the exception of the 19th Amendment, ladies. I don't want to step on any toes here. But anyway, that's what that is. And I am, by the way, your precinct committee man. So if you have any issues you'd like to talk to me about with regard to the Republicans in this county, I'd like to hear from it. And also, we need a precinct committee woman before the 28th from this county, from this town. There's room for one, but you have to have your name in the hat by the 27th. Any other questions? Thank you. I'll leave this here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Reagan.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Reagan Grotehouse, postmaster here in Shoshoni. I know most of you. Seen a bunch of you, probably haven't really introduced myself personally to you, but I am the postmaster here in Shoshoni. I'm in the early stages of looking at a possibility for the city to, how should I say that, look at a sidewalk that'll go around the postal boundaries on Wyoming and First Street. I'm doing yard work now. I'd like to do some underground sprinkler system, and I'd like to get some boundaries put up. And it would be nice, as I do that, to see if the city can look at putting a sidewalk around the post office there. It's a building that's always going to be there. It's a building that's always going to be occupied. It's a public building for the public. It would be something that would be safer for people coming in and out or around the post office. And there will be obviously maintained by the Postal Service as far as finding ways, contracting out, obviously, for snow removal and upkeep on that. Like I said, I'm at the early stages of this, and I wanted to bring it to the council members and see if we can look at city, obviously, doing something about that. So I guess I'm not asking for an answer right now. I'm just looking at possibilities on what the fund's going to be. I haven't really checked into my end of it as far as the Postal Service. Basically, I think what I'm going to hear is it's probably city's duty as far as the sidewalk around it. But I don't know any further than that. Like I said, I'm in the early stages of getting this done, and it would look a lot nicer if we had a sidewalk going around the boundaries. Obviously, if you go around, look at the stop sign there on First and Wyoming Street there, you can't see where the road begins and the property begins because it's just a slanted dirt area that I'm currently mowing right now. And it would be nice to have defined boundaries and a nice sidewalk that would go all the way around it. So any questions?
Have you looked at, has anybody drawn up a plan or?
Other than what's in my head, no. I guess the first thing would probably have to be to get it surveyed to see what exactly where the boundary is, and have that marked out, and then go from there as far as building a plan on the sidewalk.
That's what I was looking at, your boundaries. So.
Like me to pull this up on the.
Yeah, that's a skew though. That's not. Well, so I don't, so like the jailhouse is, it's a weird thing. So that would, whether or not it's 100% accurate or not. but-
Yeah, it actually goes down here. Everything shifts down.
That's what we would hope for.
Well, I mean, I've at least Googled that much of it, and the map doesn't look like that. It's looked like it's shifted north, but that's what I'm saying is it would have to be surveyed first.
Do you want the sidewalk to slant
Meaning.
on that roadside? Like, do you want it to, if that was our line, or do you want it to come down parallel here and then parallel over?
Just curve the whole corner. Get the whole corner until it meets the, from the driveway in till the driveway where the collection boxes are.
So
Is there a hydrant on that corner?
No.
Just the sign?
No, there's a box there. I think it's for that communication, our communication from what I heard. I had the, I put an application in for them to do the utilities on it, and I got proved that there's no utilities on that section of it there, that big lot.
which part are you talking about, the sidewalk on this First Street here on the backside or on here on Wyoming? On the
Both.
front side?
If-
Both? Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
Walk, it would lap around it.
so this would all be the town's right of way? Right here?
Yeah, and that looks skewed too, but I don't know. But it'd be, yeah, I mean, then I wouldn't have to water that much grass.
I know that's been surveyed back in 92, and there's some, right on the corner of that, there's some brush that's there, where that meter pit is, where you're, or the stake right there,
There's a pit. I used to take care of that.
where the water pit is for that, where you've been watering your lawn out there. Right in the corner, there's a pin there when it was surveyed. It's surveyed back in 90, 91, 92 when they did the water line. So there is a pin there. I can go up and locate
Okay,
it for you.
well, then that's make a big difference. If
But a
that
lot of
is,
that blow sand blows in there and it keeps building up. I've went down through there a couple times trying to get it to drain, and a couple of years later, it blows right back in. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can swing up there and find that pin right on that corner pin. So.
yeah, it would be nice to have the grounds clarified, identified. And that way I can proceed with my part of take care of the grounds and making them look good. I mean.
Was the street width 40 feet, buddy?
Excuse me?
40 feet was the street width? Not the easement, but just the street on the plan is 40 feet, right?
I think that's an 80-foot road, so center of the road to the edge would be a 40
40
foot.
foot, right? You're looking at right there. That would be the town's easement from there. Just a general idea.
There
Yeah.
much foot traffic there?
No,
No, but I can see where you're coming from as far as the beautification.
well, like I said, I mean,
We know the corner is, it's gotta be the second busiest corner in town next to this one right here.
right. I mean, it's gonna be occupied and it's always gonna be maintained with the people there, with the post office there. So, I mean, why not start with a place that's gonna be permanent? If you want to make this town look nice, let's start somewhere. I mean, we're not that we haven't, but I mean, let's continue to beautify the town.
A general idea, the 230 feet or so we did with on Main Street with the curb gutter, without the sidewalk, it's just the curb and gutter was about 20,000. Just a ballpark.
Stamps are going up anyway.
July 20th.
Without concrete plan and everything else, but yeah. But that was just the curb and gutter. We already had, well, and then 100 feet of sidewalk as well. So
Curb and gutter is 10 foot, a linear foot, $10 a linear foot. You ain't gonna find it. That's gonna be what you get, 10 total, linear from 9 to 12.
I would say draft your plan, what you'd like to do. I think it'd be worth pursuing. I remember
Yep.
a year ago when another citizen talked about putting mag chloride on that road. I mean, I don't foresee it happening, but it was entertained as an option, and
Yeah.
For sidewalk, you're probably $5 to $6.
Really?
I mean, it's gonna be there forever. I mean, it's probably, may be, need to be maintained down the road as far as maybe a new square would need to be poured for concrete or whatever, but I mean, it's something that the city has forever, is the postal service. Let's take pride in it.
this is a question, is the goal, if we were looking at beautification, is sidewalk the best route for beautification?
No, I mean, if there's other options, then so be it. It's just, I think for the aesthetic of it, I don't know what you can be with the sidewalk, with the boundaries, and you have all that extra stuff that just, if you look at it now, it's a blob that is growing. I mean, there's no symmetry to it at all. It's something that really, for me to take care of, I don't know, it's hard to define how to take care of it, really. Right now, I'm watering all that piece of grass. If I could, my plan is eventually to do some underground sprinklers, and if I could have it defined on where to do that, that's part of it.
What if Buddy, if in the process of defining it, he cut a line with the motor grader and kind of gave you a fresh start and said, this is
it.
There goes the blow sand, it's off, and then gives you a line, and
Yeah, that's a start, like you said.
can you do that, Buddy?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of dirt in there, so we big bit of falling out. And he's right, there's a lot of water in that drainage, because I cut it before. On the south side there, you can see where the valley pan there is, trying to get it drained from the alley, because it collects there bad, you know.
Yeah.
And it's all.
Oh, yeah,
blow
you
sand.
can tell after it rains.
Dammed it up and it can't flow, you know.
Mhm.
You know, and yeah. It almost, that whole road from Wyoming to Maine, if you was really gonna get into it, needs to be paved with a curb and gutter there, if you're gonna put a sidewalk and all that. I mean,
So that's, I wonder
I
if
would go the full.
if you were
Because
going,
that little stretch there, Wyoming, I think the newest pavement is on Main that we just recently did. And then you got Wyoming next to it, and then you got that strip that angles along there on First Street. That's just, you know, the water standing there, it gets underneath that or that pavement, it just tears it up. So it's a mess, but you know, there's something to think about it. If you
Reagan,
do
I
think about a sidewalk.
see, I'd wonder if, so what they just did at Sportsman's Warehouse in Riverton, the xeriscape approach, as far as little rocks, big rocks, but they covered a big area. That's why I wonder if something like that, if you laid your ground tarp down to do some weed prevention, but just as a cost comparison, big rocks are fairly cheap compared to sidewalk.
Yeah, that would be fine too. I mean, there isn't that much foot traffic, but
But it would still beautify and give you some boundaries and make your grass more distinctive, and
yeah,
maybe motivate to plant a tree.
that's a good idea too.
I think that makes sense because you have the bike path for traffic. So the bike path is right there on the other side of the lounge.
It'd be something I want you guys to look at.
I don't mind volunteering to look at it.
I'd like to come look at it too.
Okay. Yeah. and then from my end, I can get with the post office and see what parts they stand as far as if they can do any funds for part of the grounds or whatever. I don't know. I haven't, like I said, I haven't gone that far. It's like probably like you guys pinching the pennies to get anything. So it's, you know.
But I think based on what if the lines are somewhat, we'll just say they were accurate, you're up against, you can take care of your itty bitty section, but yeah, there's a lot of room that the town, I guess you just take care of that for the town, which is nice of you. But yeah, it goes a long way as far as
Oh,
You know, you can avoid that, take care of weeds and stuff. You're responsible for sending the road, so,
yeah. But he's looking at 20 feet from the line or something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a way that you could define the boundary, and then even like you said, run the grader down part of it too, so that, you know, it looks symmetrical and you know where the grounds are defined and where my responsibility is as far as is keeping up with the grounds and so forth.
Well, I think if you're looking at sprinklers, that would be an important thing, so you don't run sprinklers and
It is an important thing.
and then have to say, oh, you're on our side of the line anyway.
By looking at that, yeah, I mean, if I would have started something, I would have had that halfway in the middle of
Yeah,
the,
you'll
on
be
the
down
street
to
there.
You'll be down to the stop sign with your sprinkler
Yeah.
system.
Well, with that, the stop sign is kind of in the middle of the road, huh?
Mhm.
But anyway. That's all I got.
Move on to new business. Central Bank and Trust signature card.
So currently we have myself, Mayor Highsmith, and Councilman Weaver on our signature card. I would ask to add Councilman Zent to the town signature card so that in the absence of one or the either, I can have somebody else as well be able to sign the checks. We have payments and whatnot. And Councilman Ankeny was on the signature card, but obviously he's no longer on it. And so we never replaced that one. So I would ask for Councilman Zent to be added to the signature card for town business. The Central Bank and Trust.
I'll make that motion to get a signature card to Central Bank.
Been moved by Councilman Weaver that we add Councilman Zent to the signature card, Central Bank and Trust. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Been second by Councilwoman Hartke. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. Town edition naming, Katie. The land we're looking at naming is the rural part, the acreage. You know, we have the 40 acres that was already in that subdivision we're subdividing. So we're looking at the property between, that's west of Herbst Lane and south of 7th Street. That includes that 73 acres. And we would like to also include the land it's adjacent to. Is that already in ours?
That's the two ones that aren't yellow or orange. This section here and this
Section there that was purchased
Correct.
in, I think, 2015, was it?
Sounds right.
Sounds, that was. So that is the property we're looking to name. Tell you the truth, I'd like to consider the name of Weaver Acres. Because I can tell you, Bo Weaver and I was looking at this property before he ran for city council and I ran for mayor, discussing what to do with that land. And Bo Weaver's idea from the start was to develop that into property where people could buy lots, acre or bigger, be able to have 4-H animals or horses or whatever. That's sort of a rural setting within the city limit, town limits of Shoshoni. But he was very strong opinion about that when we were driving around looking at things, on trying to recognize that we had a housing shortage and that we needed housing for people to come to Shoshoni. But that's my thought. Sure like to listen to other ideas, but that is something I would like to suggest. I've kicked around all sorts of ideas too. I had someone tell me, I haven't found it, but they said there used to be out there amongst the rocks of that property where we're selling, someone used to have a stove top there and used to sell stuff there. I had a friend call me up that his mother showed him that. He's a few years older than me, but anyway, they were residents around here for a long time. He asked me if I ever heard about it. That was just a couple days ago. He also asked me about, I knew about the nitro that blew up out of Bonneville. And I didn't know nothing about that, but I plan to talk to Kathy Blair and see if she can enlighten me on that. But he said when he was real young, he thought it was Heber Petty that told him about that. He used to live out there, the older Heber Petty. But any thoughts?
Town input,
I'd like that. Yes, that's what we're hoping for.
you put it in your town letter. I don't know if anybody would participate or not, if may or may not.
You could do a survey, and just have them type in their, the town's site and say, you know, what we'd like to name this subdivision.
I'm not opposed to that.
Do a Google survey.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the patch that's on your arm. Wasn't that done by one of the high schoolers? I mean, that might be a great idea as far as what you come up with, as far as there's some stuff to it, but
yeah,
it gives community input.
Yeah.
I just think the involvement side of it, like I said, whether, if nobody chooses to participate, then we come back to, well, this is what we've got versus we name this today and then the world gets to do their thing. Well,
no,
I wanted to call it Disneyland Estates and
sure.
But if it was
but we
simple-
put this on the agenda, it was asked to put it on the agenda to name it today. So that's why I presented what I did. But yeah, I think it's a good idea to put it out. I got no problem with that at all.
I'd have no problem tabling this for 3 weeks.
3 weeks to our next meeting.
Table it to our next meeting. We'll
Yeah.
we'll find means to get it out to the public, see if they got any good ideas.
you can pacify them when they come in here and complain about their water bill. You can say, by the way, we'd like your input and
You know, it's one of those things where when you keep talking about it, that's what happens. So thank you.
you'll have good foot traffic through here. So take a number and take a survey.
I'm not the one that has to vote for it.
Huh? Oh, I know.
Water acres. Anyway, I didn't say that, did I?
That hurts.
Okay. So-
Enterprise Estates.
Yeah.
It's actually not bad.
Yeah, we're going. We're getting good.
Damn.
Okay. I suppose I need a motion to move it to our next council meeting.
I move we table the name of the town edition. That is west of Herbst Road.
I'll second
Would the motion also add that we seek public information? on the
Yes,
naming?
please.
Yes.
So it's been moved by Councilman Zent, second by Councilman Weaver, that we will move the naming of the new subdivision to the next regular scheduled council meeting. And we will be seeking public information for ideas on the name. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, hold the same. Motion passed on the affirmative. Would, Chris, would you like to discuss a little bit on department head? Thing to report.
Yes, I didn't, I don't have a department head report. It's just something I want to brief the council on with Buddy. It involves our trees. And we have some issues with neglected trees in town that we own, mainly on East Park and Centennial. So the bus station and Centennial. Where they, I'm not sure, when's the last time they were serviced, Buddy? Sorry, Chris, I didn't hear you. The trees on Centennial and East Park.
Been here, what, 12 years, and since I've been here, they haven't been done. I tried to run it through a couple of years prior, mayor and council, and the price came in just outrageous. So they denied it, you know. So I really don't know when the last time it was done, to be honest with you, that I know of.
And so one of the issues with our insurance with the LGLP, and it came up a couple of years ago when we had a tree incident, is that if we don't maintain our trees that we own and somebody gets hurt with a falling branch or whatever, then we're gonna, LGLP is not gonna cover us because we did nothing to service the trees. And so Buddy and I have been trying to talk about this for the last 2 years, but with one of our local people, it kind of got lost in the wayside.
Yeah.
And it kind of came back up with our recent windstorm and we had some branches. And so what I just wanted to bring up was we did seek an estimate of a bid, and I just wanted to let council know that we have some options. That's the bid for the two, including all the trees. The reason that they are just a number and not a breakdown is because there's so many trees, it'd be about 20 pages of going line by line, but they can provide that if needed. I'm talking with Buddy on the previous estimates. I believe that this was significantly cheaper than the last one. I will note that the East Park is 50-50 with the state, so that would actually be half of what we would get that for reimbursement. We'd only pay half of that. So the total cost $5,400, not $7,700. But it is something that needs to be addressed at some point, whether we do it right now or in the next few months or whenever, but it does need to be done. And there's two ways we can do it now with our existing, or we can modify for the second reading of the budget. That's why I just wanted to bring it to council's attention that this is more of an insurance and a liability thing than just it's not a vanity thing. It's not proving anything, but it's something we just have to do. And it hasn't been done for a significant amount of time. And if we do nothing, then we're, knowingly liable if something were to happen.
We trim the trees as high as we get. We don't have a bucket truck or anything, so.
Which one's East Park?
It's the
bus
bus
down.
station. It's called
Oh.
East Park, but it's the
Oh.
bus station. So all those
Cotton-
sorry.
Big old cottonwood that's overhanging that shelter that's right there with the picnic bench. I've always thought, man, one of them crack loose and then, somebody underneath that.
They did send. He did Centennial last year, or part of Centennial.
He trimmed some of it. He didn't have a bucket truck.
Oh, so he just did the
And
ground
he ground the
stuff.
stumps up, which I know the expense on our last one that I checked into, the reason it was so high was with the stump removal, So
And this is just the
tree
getting
trimming.
tree trimming and getting it up, not pruning, but actually tree trimming and going up and taking care of the
Clean out the dead wood.
They definitely need, say there's a lot of dead clear up there that we can't even get to, I'm scared of heights and I ain't climbing up that tree.
Well, be brave. You'll be fine.
Well, come join me.
I'm happy to. I used to be a tree trimmer.
There you go. I've got a saw for you.
Really, like I said, I just wanted to bring the council up to speed on that. I can prepare something for the next meeting for either way we go, whether we do it in this budget or we just kick it to the next one. But I just want some guidance before we get to that point and just let you know, I don't need a vote or accept anything necessarily, just what's the best way to proceed.
It's definitely something we need to look into. Because like Chris did say, I remember talking to him, and that was some of my question, when was the last time the trees were trimmed? It's like, well,
Well, comparatively, we bought an $18,000 lawnmower because Buddy's afraid of heights. So stay on the ground
I
level.
stay on the ground, as low as possible.
I'm sure if council wishes, I can figure out a way to buy him a bucket truck.
While you're at it.
Need chainsaws.
Well, now you let the cat out of the bag. I think we will have to do something. So I guess
We didn't know, so we were
right,
exempt.
but now we
Now we
everybody-
know.
Now we know when that tree branch falls down, we say, oh, we talked about it. So,
And this actually came from LGLP more so than. So it's just one of those little things that we're responsible for. Or we can cut them down.
do you have to do a formal bid, or you're able to solicit just like you've done?
There's not very many companies that do tree trimming with bucket trucks that can service our trees, because they are, the few we have are pretty.
But you don't have to do a public. That's what I mean.
It's
You're
under 35,000, so we don't have to do the formal request. We can certainly get other bids. I think there's one other mom and pop type company that I know that's doing some, I don't know if they have a bucket truck. That's the hard part, is trying to find a local provider that has the equipment.
This provider do work for the power company. Power company uses somebody, I believe, out of Pavilion or used to.
I don't know if they contract, I can get the answer, I don't know.
Okay, I'm just thinking, I don't know if it's the same person or there was.
Yeah, there's one out of Casper that services, but they're a lot more expensive, obviously, because they travel the area. So the state might, I know the state school down in Lander goes through the same company that we have.
We can just send the bill to the state.
I think so.
Well, it's maintenance, just like maintenance for anything else in that park, right?
So we will get half of it back. So we'll get a reimbursement. I'll do a reimbursement request.
Okay.
Whatever we pay there, we'll get 50%.
That's what I'm checking.
Right.
Yeah.
But do we need the state's agreement to say we can do that since it's our responsibility?
The grant, the agreement of us is to maintain that, and all the
Okay.
things we have to do to maintain.
That's fine.
I'd say proceed.
I just needed to know, kind of, do you want me to prepare something in the next meeting, or would you want me to kick it into next budget year? Either way is not really gonna matter.
Did they say what their availability is?
They said they could do it right now. We're on a week. So we can do it. It's net 30 terms. So if you would prefer that I figure out.
If you did it now, it'd look nice for all of Jordan's events this summertime.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to pull those two dead pine trees out of.
Let's talk to the tree trimmers.
But it's gonna
Talk to
require
Buddy.
some modification of the budget.
Talk to Buddy about that. He has a bucket.
Yeah, but you don't want them to drive on that new sprinkler system in that thing, do you?
It's only
Use
grass.
that track hole.
Well, it hits a head. Like a sprinkler head all over the place.
I can put something together for the next council meeting.
Sounds good.
Did we get? Plant, I missed that, it's a plan. Do you use funds that we have, move funds around that we have in this year's budget and do it, and get it done now?
Yeah,
Correct.
that's what
Okay,
and I'll
that's
do-
my understanding.
If I have to do a formal request to adjust the budget, if I can't make it work in the confines, we have the availability to do that. but
Right.
I'll let the council know if I have to, or if I can make it work. That's why I want to know the clarification on. Just easiest way.
Very good. Tammy, you have anything you'd like to bring? Oh,
Just a quick question with our digital sign out there. Did we put on, I haven't been by there. Did we put on congratulations to the graduating class?
I did not.
Maybe we should throw that on there.
I should do that tonight before I leave.
2020, congratulations, class of 2023. Now we can find out who really is looking at the sign.
Pay attention. It's an unofficial poll.
anything else, Paul?
No, that's all I have.
Mike, do you have something?
For town's information, State Parks is putting in a new campground at the Causeway. 20 sites, 2 cabins. And their focus is not going to be on the fishermen because you can't really, right now, you can't really put a boat out right at that spot.
Paddle
But-
boat.
Well, and their emphasis is going to be on the pass-throughs. And so if they're going to Jackson or wherever, coming from Cody, you know, it's a place they can look at. So they're putting that in. They started earlier in the week. 20 campsites, and 2 cabins. They'll have a, I think they call it camp warden or something there, park warden.
Camp host.
Camp host, yeah. Thank you. And so I'm not sure when it's gonna be done, but hopefully this summer.
No, been in the works, even when I was,
Yeah.
say we were dealing with that and try to get the approvals and stuff, so.
They started.
They're putting several cabins around the entire lake.
Right.
Yep.
As far as I didn't know they were, I mean, that's a good 2 cabins, 20 sites, because I know they're doing a big expansion at Tough Creek as well
Mhm.
right now, putting some of the new cabins there. They've all been staged up at,
Headquarters.
yeah, by headquarters, going by Swim Beach,
Yes.
where they were sitting.
So that's all I have. More tourism.
We can grab a couple cabins.
I can tell them.
I don't know, so we talked about the Winter Visitor Council is here, so I'd like to also touch on that rails to trails. I've been working with Fremont County Rec, talking with them, and they're doing more improvements there. The Winter Visitors Council is also going to be trying to promote that trail. I talked with several of the board members of the Fremont County Rec Board. They're very supportive, very excited about the town acquiring Rock Park and possibly using that as part of a trailhead to that destination. That love to see a bathroom there and picnic tables, stuff like that. Maybe we can even get them to help fund some of that. But anyway, let's see. That trail gets a lot of use. And that should be a good thing. Our design for our sewer line project reached the 50% where they've got the basic design, they call it 50% done. So we're on schedule, pretty much on schedule on that, and continue to move forward. Have you heard anything, Chris, from our architect?
They're
recently?
finishing preparing the bidding documents, so I believe that we will be ready to get them advertised, probably, hopefully next week, to start advertising for bid for a contract. So that's pretty much where we're at with that.
And then we'll be going through an engineer selection process with the Wyoming Water Development for our level 2 for our water lines. And the emphasis on that is trying to figure out how come we're breaking water lines. That's an important thing that caused us to where we had to have bottled water. So that's one of the things they're definitely think they're looking at. But that's gonna move forward, and we're still looking at potentials moving some aspects of it to a level 3. That work is going on. That's basically all I guess before our next meeting, though, we will have June 4th, we will have some speed trials running out there again. That I know the last we had just 15 cars at the last event, but we had 6 records broken, 6 different divisions. We had an electric car, a Tesla, that ran 121 miles an hour in an eighth of a mile. 56 Chevy or 111 miles an hour.
But you had to go recharge.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say someone's gonna bring bigger batteries in the next
Well,
competition.
his first run was 121, and then his next run was a 120. So he got us after his first run, he got his max out. So, but that's a thing is
All the juice.
that is quick and quiet. That is quick and quiet. But it was a lot of fun. But anyway, we're the 4th. We're going to have some more, have it done again. Should be fairly, and Mushroom Farm is very generous, letting us use their stage out of their parking lot. I'd also like to mention that Mushroom Farm is this weekend is bringing quite a few people to Shoshoni. They're recruiting them to come to work. And last numbers I heard between 200 and 300 people.
Really?
Between 200 and 300 people. I know they told me several weeks ago they had 125 rooms reserved in Riverton. So you may see quite a few people. They had to go to Thermopolis for a gymnasium that they're gonna play some basketball and stuff like that. They are gonna go to the rec board, Fremont County Recs building and have a meeting there. And they've asked to borrow seat or chairs from the town also, so they got enough seating because the rec board don't have enough seats out there. And I've worked with Buddy, and they're gonna have people here to help load the chairs, and we'll help take them down there. But they plan to continue to expand out there. But anyway, they're expecting they're bringing people in from, I believe, California, Nevada, and Utah, I was told, at least for this event. So town will be pretty busy this weekend. Pardon?
I got some.
Okay, please do.
Well, Buddy is preoccupied, but we've been talking for the last year about the town signage for our street signs, and obviously that's a huge need. One of the things that we did talk about a lot was on 2nd Street and Idaho Street, getting some specially designed ones that have a town logo on it to kind of make it a little bit more appealing with the actual signs, than just having, 2nd Street or Maple Street or whatever, but actually have one. You've seen some of them. I know Riverton has some, Lander has somewhere on the main streets where they have on the left hand side of it has like a logo. And so we've been talking about that, and I think that here soon we'd like to bring a design to take a look at it and maybe replace all the signs on 2nd Street and Idaho Street that need to be replaced anyway. So looking at a way to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing as you go by than just a white sign with black letters or a green reflective sign. Actually have one that has a little bit of character to it. Talk about the signs, buddy, on Second Street, Idaho.
Yeah, yeah.
And trying to come up with something. So we'll present something when we can figure it out to you. But it looked nice.
People don't like that kind of change. Some of those things have been here for 150 years, I suppose.
Maybe half the sign.
On our wall.
Love to go up for bid.
There's a couple of them, you can't even read them anymore, so that's probably.
Well, I can remember the change when we started getting street numbers on our house. What's your street number? I don't know. I live over there.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea.
But just little things that buddy were kind of discussing. And
So not in the budget, we'll watch you some spray paint so you can update them.
You just in full coat spray.
Well, we have to do a little bit more research, but I think we'll be okay.
They're good painters. We got some extra scrap too.
Anybody
Homemade
else have
signs?
anything? None being, have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Demick that we adjourn. Can I have a second? Been seconded by Councilwoman Harkey that we adjourn. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor that we adjourn, say aye. Aye. Polls the same. Motion passed on the affirmative, 8:59. I got it done before 9 o'clock. That was